probably a pro at this point, huh?
Well, I don't know about a pro, but at least I've done it.
Hi, this is Mike Barrett. We are in Grand Rapids, Michigan with Jean Stoffer, founder and owner of Jean Stoffer Design and Stoffer Home Cabinetry. Thank you, Jean, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Well, actually, thanks for coming to Michigan.
Yeah. This is my second time to the store here, so I'm very excited to be back. The first time that I think we crossed paths was about 10 years ago.
Has it really been 10 years? Okay.
So I think we share an alignment in a love for historical buildings, architecture, design. When you did the last home we worked together on, you introduced the idea of a scullery kitchen, which I had to go look up what that was afterwards. So I guess what I'm wondering is, like, how do you incorporate these historical elements into today's homes in a way that is functional and, just for today's families?
Well, I think I realized that, a lot of the homes, newer homes over the last many years have had open concept plans because we've discovered that when we're in the kitchen, we want to be with everybody and not hidden in a corner. But what I've also discovered is that means that there's this element that is inherent in a kitchen that creates a mess and noise and maybe some smells that aren't great if you're in a family space. And so I looked into how is this handled, in older homes. And a lot of times there's this back kitchen or scullery kitchen where a lot of the actual work is done and the mess can be hidden. So that's one aspect of just loving looking into history to help us inform what we do with design. But the other thing is just, we're both from Chicago. There's so much great architecture there, and you just kind of absorb it. And looking around and seeing the amazing moldings and cornices and just porches and how just windows are used and how they're placed and why symmetry is so important and balance and proportion. And I feel like I would walk up and down the streets and certainly when I got into design, I became so much more aware of it. Just so appreciative of what these architects of old brought to us.
Would you say that is where you primarily draw your inspirations from?
I would say so.
Okay. And what would be kind of your philosophy when designing, would you say?
Well, most of our work is residential, and usually it's for individuals. And so my philosophy is first find out about them, what their aspirations are, what their lifestyle is like, what kind of quality they're either used to or want to have. And as soon as I gather all those data points and budget, budget's a big thing.
Sure.
I start to just do what if, and a lot of it, I think once you just immerse yourself for a long enough period of time, you tend to want to do two things at the same time. I do. Stay classic so that it can still be here in 100 years and it doesn't be like, what is this freak that happened,
Absolutely.
And also, in context, does it work now?
What is it that you see that maybe other people can't see with these spaces?
Well, I guess one of the things, when I design, what I usually do is take the outline of what could be the space and clear everything out that's inside of it. And then I have a list of the things that need to go in there. And then I just start doing what if this and what if that.
Would you say then that reconfiguring the space, the shapes, could be a future trend in kitchens?
Yeah, I think reconfiguring could be a future trend, because it becomes, if you find something that works, it becomes easy to just replicate it.
Well, it feels thoughtful, your designs do. It feels like you've really thought about, if I was living in this home, would I enjoy this space? Whereas some other designers, I don't get that feeling from. And that even boils down to the drawing sets that you guys do. They're so detailed. There might be a fruit bowl on the counter, or it's like they're staged.
To show you the scale and show you how you might live in it.
Yeah, so when you compare that to a basic CAD drawing that we might get from someone else, I can feel this kitchen that you're showing me, whereas this just looks like some blocks on a piece of paper. And just that little thing is huge for a potential client, a builder, me to pass along to my client. And that's a great thing that you guys do.
Oh, I'm going to tell that to my team.
So we are working on a project together right now. It's a single family home in Lincoln Park in Chicago. You guys have designed a kitchen, a scullery kitchen as well for us, a dinette, some built-ins. Can you speak to the process that people would expect to go through when they come to you for a new design such as that?
Yeah, well, our very first step is getting what people think would be their space, so we kind of get an idea of how much cabinetry might be involved and what type. And before anything, we give people an estimate of their cabinetry cost should they choose to go with us. And we've discovered that just helps so much, because so much of what we do is educating people. A lot of people haven't done custom kitchens before. And so it's a whole new world, and how do you even begin to know what that might cost? And cabinetry is a big piece of the budget, so that's a big help to know going in what they could expect. We really think that lighting fixtures and cabinetry hardware is a big part of the success of these kitchens. And so we put together hardware and lighting packages that we think would look beautiful with what we've designed as far as the cabinetry.
That's good to know. I mean, it is kind of a process to get through all that, right?
It is.
And most people probably don't understand the amount of work that goes into even producing those drawings.
They're detailed enough where people can really imagine what their kitchen is going to look like. They're not 3D, they're just floor plans and elevations. But we've also learned that it's enough information to really picture what it's going to be like, but it's not so much information that it's not a thrill when it gets installed for people.
Sure.
Because sometimes if you see something, it almost looks like a photograph before it's installed. It's like, yep, that's what I thought it was going to be.
So do you intentionally not do 3D for that reason? Wow, that's great.
Intentionally, because it is a thrill. And I think the other thrill is seeing the quality of the cabinetry. And we deliver it to the job site, blanket wrapped, piece by piece, as inspected as it comes off the truck and handed to the installers. But and then we offer, we require a conversation over the phone with the installer after he's kind of cataloged everything, so that we can just go through best practices for installation and help him understand our drawings, how everything's coded and numbered on both the pieces and the drawings, so there's no mistaking about what goes where.
I have experiences where I've had kind of these aha moments when I'm trying to figure out a design for a building or a home. I draw from everywhere. I remember one time I was in a grocery store and I picked up a magazine and was flipping through and I saw a building and I had like a moment.
You do have good designs, I have to say.
Thank you.
Really, really thoughtful. Floor plans, you're usually dealing with really tight lots. And it is really a beautiful work of space planning, what you guys come up with, I have to say.
Great. Well, we also kind of wanted to see what else you have in the hopper right now.
Well, a few things.
I don't know if you can talk about all of it, whatever you can.
Yeah. Well, we're in the coffee shop part of our store here in Grand Rapids. The coffee shop is called the Bradbury, named it after my grandpa Bradbury. And the store behind us, we've called Stoffer Home. And it's we've been here 4 years now. And we started because when Grace, my daughter, and I were doing our whole home interior design projects, the hardest part for us was finishing it and finding the finishing pieces for it. You know, just the things to make it look like a home.
Sure.
Because you and I, for those years, you would build the house and everything that was structural, and then I would bring in and do kitchens and baths and things, but you still need the things to make it feel cozy. And we were having trouble finding all those things, or at least the amount of things we needed or the style we wanted. And Grace came up with this idea of opening a store. And it had never been on my radar before, but it's turned out to be a really helpful thing and a great thing and a fun thing for people to come to, actually. How about it, huh?
Great.
You know, you might recognize a lot of the things here because we use a lot of these features when we started working with you, like the refrigerator panels.
This would be what a custom Jean Stoffer kitchen would
This is.
So we talked about the store and the cafe, but I've also seen you on TV a little bit lately.
Yes. Yeah. This is another thing that just never really crossed my mind that this would be part of my life. But about 3 years ago, I got a call from a person who said that Joanna Gaines has seen your work and she and Chip are starting a network, and they would like to talk about the possibility of you maybe doing a show. And, you know, up until this point, the only design shows I'd ever heard of that were on television were just these like extreme things that happened super fast and like all kinds of like
fire drills
and just like, and then I can imagine, and what happened to that house afterwards. So here we are. Now we're filming season 3 of The Established Home, and it follows our work, and we haven't had to compromise. And I hand it to them. I think it's Chip and Joanna Gaines' vision of really wanting to be authentic. I hand it to them because I think when they were filming their show, they realized, you know, there's a lot of people that struggle through a renovation that take a long time, and it costs money, and there's problems, and people didn't understand how it could take just, you know, a few weeks. And so they're letting it play out, and I think it's probably hard for them.
Yeah.
Really. Mm-hmm. But I'm thankful for it because, and I'm thankful because I get to be with my kids a lot, and that's actually what brings so much of the joy to me. Is I love the design work, but the fact that I also get to work with the kids in it is a huge joy. It really makes it worth it to me.
I bet. Mm-hmm. I get to work with my brother on a daily basis and sisters occasionally. My mom and dad are somewhat involved, so I understand the
you get
family business aspect of it.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's getting along, works out well.
It's true.
But it is fun. I mean, it allows you to see each
all
other
have
more.
your different roles too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of fun, and that's the way it's working out for our family too. Everybody has a strength that can be brought to the company in a different way that makes it much stronger.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all we really have, Jean. Just really want to thank you for making the time to meet with us today and
you're welcome.
Talk details and shop.
Yeah.
It's really good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.